My name is Gavin Kwai. By training, I'm a solicitor in Hong Kong. At the moment, I'm the Secretary General of the League of Social Democrats. The main purpose for our trip this time to Northern America is to, first of all, to come to thank our supporters and our members as well for their efforts in the past movements, including the de facto referendum being held on the 16th of May. And at the same time, we would like to rally for more support from people of Northern America, and we would like to discuss with them whether it is feasible and whether they would like to consider about the possibility about forming into a formal structure within the League of Social Democrats, like a formal branch of LSD in this area.
So you have stopped in LA, Vancouver,
San
Francisco. So what are the people who are interested in joining your parties? Like what age group and
Unlike most other people would think, our supporters actually came from all walks of life and of different ages.
So it's not all young people.
We have students, young people, retirees, or people who are in their 30s or 40s.
Right. So in a pre-interview, you were talking about you could be you may be forming a North American branch as opposed to be like a city by city branch.
We have no concrete decision yet, but I think we will leave the discussion to our members in North America for them to discuss among themselves first, and then maybe we would be taking maybe 2 or 3 weeks and to decide upon whether we would like to have a big branch which include all the cities or individual branch from within individual cities.
Do you envision them like connecting to each other using electronic means, Facebook or Twitter or whatever?
It would be mainly electronic means because to be honest, because most of us have to spend our time in Hong Kong, and it is only during the summer or during holidays we can come over and interact with our members of North America. So I would think that we would focus on electronic means to bring our members closer in the first place. And for myself, I'm more inclined to the idea about forming into a big branch covering all the cities rather than forming branch in individual cities.
In San Francisco area. Right. So, Gavin, you brought out the issue of the successful referendum in Hong Kong. I heard one of your newer members, Edward Yam, he talked about, hey, once you guys got seats in all 5 air districts and whatnot, then you guys will have the tool and the means to actually hold referendum on any subject that you guys want. Can you elaborate on that?
That would certainly be a mean of our struggles for democracy in Hong Kong, because obviously from the experience that we got this time, the central government is really opposed to that idea about having a de facto referendum, giving people their right to voice out their concern by their own votes. So I think that's definitely one of the I should put it this way, one of our most destructive weapons.
It is. It's like the nuclear option. Gavin, you were barrister before you enter politics now, right? You now, because of the workload that you would have to be a good barrister, you are now becoming a solicitor, a solicitor. So what makes you make that kind of sacrifice to actually be totally engaged in politics?
My personal belief is very simple. I believe there are 3 kinds of people in the community. One who were born to be rich, that you don't have to give a damn to what happens to the others. The other kind would belong to the lower class, who might have a lot to fight for, but they lack the ability to fight for themselves. So for me, I can take care of myself, and I have the ability to fight for the welfare and the rights for other people as well. So if I have that ability and I don't come out to do something, then I think it would only be unfair to the society.
But a lot of people in, I guess, my generation or earlier generations, if they were trained barista, they would just forget about the pool and then just make their money. But what triggered you? Like, was there something in the family, or
I was also grown up in a pool family, and my family teaching is always like that. When you have the ability to help, you have to help. So
now, like, you are in your 30s or mid-30s, I think. What do you see? Exactly, mid-30s. So, what do you see the younger generation? Are they, like, how old are the LSD members? What kind of thinking? Like, are they really fully grown adult in a sense where they can think logically, or they just go with, whoa, this is cool to be in LSD?
God, they are not.
Or long hair.
Thank God, not most of them are grown up, because for grown up you have a lot of boundaries. For younger people, you still have a lot of room for creative thinking and for some.
Are they in high school, like 15, 16, or what?
Well,
for
the youngest one, they are only in the lower secondary.
Lower secondary. Oh, okay. So Form 1, Form 2, probably like grade 6, 7, 8.
You can tell when you actually talk to them, they are very, very articulate in their arguments, and they still have a lot of passion to participate in society movements, and at the same time they are very eager to learn, either from the past experience of us or from the knowledge that they can get from, maybe from readings or other cultural stuff. But it is not like they are just going with the flow. Okay, my peer groups are now all going to join social movements, all going to join LSD. That's why I have to follow them. That's not the case.
So, according to you, at least, they are capable of being critical and ask questions.
Capable of forming their own decision and their own thinking.
So, but like, would they be able to challenge you guys? Like, if
they are challenging us all the time. I mean, if
long hair say this or that.
If you pay some attention to the online discussion of LSD members, as well as the recent news about our extraordinary members meetings, there are actually the younger generation challenge a lot of decisions of the.
How young? Like
the youngest one would be like 16.
16.
But of course, he is not old enough to vote.
To vote yet.
I mean, even not old enough to vote within LSD. And for the most elderly, still less than 30.
Yeah. See, my observation when I made my documentary about long hair in 2004 was, at the time there were tons of kids going to ask for autographs from Chen Mo, from long hair, and people kind of galvanized around.
He's just an icon, right?
Yeah. Well, I hope that the kids would be able to have their own mind, think for themselves. But what's your thought?
I would think that they are not treating long hair as an icon, but rather a role model.
A role model that they don't challenge his point of view.
They still challenge, but he's certainly someone to look up to. They certainly want to follow his path, but it doesn't mean that they have to agree with him all the time.
Right.
No, for some of them, they may not agree with long hair that you have to swear all the time.
Yeah. See, some of them, like even some of the action by Yukman, it's quite radical in a sense. There was one clip that I've seen him talking to Choi Yu-jung. It's like he is like a bully, beating up the Choi Yu-chung, beating up the poor guy. And like, are the kids learning to me the wrong thing, that shout your opponent down or being actually physical? I mean, that to me is an assault. I mean, I don't want to put you in a hotspot.
This is something actually we are working very hard to educate our young members. I think you have heard that we have just started a political school within the party, teaching the younger members about the rules that you have to observe in running for an election. The rules that you have to bear in mind when you are in front of a camera. What's the difference between the respect for a person or the abuse of a person and a challenge to a person? We have to tell them. I mean, for the clip that you mentioned about, Yorkman is actually in front of a camera, and it looks confrontational, but it doesn't. You know.
Well, from the camera's perspective, right?
In private,
we look at evidence, right?
Yes.
we look at what's
different. And Yorkman afterwards have explained to the members that they shouldn't have followed his behavior.
Okay. That's good to hear.
Because he is actually a very unique person. You know, maybe he is the only one within our party who can act like this. For example, if I do the same thing, I will be under a lot of fire and condemnation. That's for sure.
So, do you see politics be your long-term passion? Let's say, for example, if you get elected to the district council or even further to the legislative council, will you quit your legal job, or you're going to be like some of the LegCo members, trying to keep the two in balance, I suppose, like keeping a job and
you were talking about sacrifice in the very beginning of this I would not claim myself to be a saint, that I would sacrifice everything for politics. But you also have to bear in mind a very unique feature of LSD, which is we are a very poor political party. So the party itself is not capable of providing resources to support its members to carry on political activities without having to take care of themselves in terms of their own livelihood. So I would have thought that it might not be a bad thing if in the future I got a chance to become a representative of the people, but I would have thought that I would at the same time keep my job, just to make sure that I do not have to eat into the resources that I got from any political structure, but instead I can make use of those resources to help people or to help my own party.
Would you go as far as I don't know if he still does that, but with most salary, electoral salary, I think he put in a good chunk of it right towards political activities.
I don't know if he still does something like 10,000 per month for
from the
for his very
personal,
humble life. For me, I would like to take the same route.
Really?
Yes.
Good for you. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I'm going to do my interview with you in Chinese.
Thank you.